Hillary Clinton recently tweeted this: "The party of freedom fries would like you to know that cancel culture is a very serious problem." Is it just me, or do many Democrats not understand what cancel culture actually is? Changing the name of French fries to freedom fries had nothing to do with cancel culture. No one was canceled. It's not like we stopped importing our potatoes from France or something. Many Democrats will even say that cancel culture doesn't exist, that it's just progress. But this tweet from Hillary Clinton really shines a light on why they say that. It's because some of them don't even know what it is. People and things being canceled are supposedly due to them being offensive in some way. Of course, a lot of people don't even know why they're offended these days. For example, Speedy Gonzales is on the cancel culture chopping block right now because his big hat and Mexican accent are somehow offensive. But who's really offended? He's loved in Latin America. It's the same with changing the names of sports teams like the Cleveland Indians. Who's offended by that? Why not also change the name of the Minnesota Vikings, or the Fighting Irish, or the Boston Celtics, or the Dallas Cowboys? Why aren't those names offending anyone? Here's the truth. The reason we find ourselves in this mess is because of identity politics. You see, victimhood and cancel culture are a big part of identity politics. For those who use this political tactic to divide us, it's just politics to them. But for those who look at their group identity as being more important than their individual self, they find themselves easily offended. "That Speedy Mouse wears a big hat. Mexicans don't wear hats like that anymore. I'm offended." The sad part is that most of the people who are talking about so many things being offensive aren't even the people who claim to be offended. A few years ago, there was supposed to be a Speedy Gonzales movie made, but it appears to have been shelved. Check out this article from 2016 about it. Looney Tunes' most racially stereotypical character is about to get his own movie. Created in the 1950s, Gonzales was a crafty, lightning-fast Mexican mouse who became a children's favorite in Latin America. But in the decades since, the character has been criticized for exhibiting ethnic stereotypes, including an oversized yellow sombrero and an embroidered Mexican accent. His friends, along with his cousin, Slowpoke Rodriguez, are usually depicted as lazy and dumb. Speedy is a heroic cartoon character, but we're supposed to be offended because he wears a sombrero and has a lazy cousin. Come on, man, let's get real about what's going on here. This is about dividing us. If you don't like Speedy Gonzales, don't watch it, but that's actually not the case. The article continued. In 1999, Cartoon Network pulled Speedy Gonzales reruns from the air after deciding they were too offensive. The network reinstituted them 3 years later after fans protested. Despite the cartoon's many cliches, he's been embraced by Latino communities, especially in Mexico. So like I said earlier, who's really offended? There are some, but it's because they've bought into the nonsense of identity politics. And I feel bad for them. They've been convinced that their individual identity is not important. And sadly, that takes away their individuality and forces them to believe and act a certain way that's only acceptable for that group. Their individuality has been stripped away in an effort to use them as a political pawn. It's really sad. Now, back to why so many Democrats don't understand what cancel culture is. Well, many of them do, and don't want to admit it because they're the ones doing it. They're lying because they don't want to admit to why they're doing it. You see, they understand that emotionally unstable people are easy to manipulate, and that has a huge political upside. I mean, if you can't watch a cartoon like Speedy Gonzales without being offended, you're most likely a voting Democrat. The reason it's easy to see that cancel culture is just a political tool is because the things that do get canceled versus the things that don't get canceled don't make any sense. Young people are currently trying to cancel the rapper Eminem because his lyrics are violent. However, there are a plethora of black rappers with violent, homophobic, and misogynistic lyrics, and no one makes a peep about them. Speedy Gonzales might be canceled soon, but the cartoon South Park is somehow still okay. And then think about this. The people who are using cancel culture to destroy anyone who's ever uttered a racially insensitive word are all voting for the party of slavery and Jim Crow. If anything should be canceled, wouldn't you think it would be the political party that supported slavery? And that's how we know that this is all about politics. And if you're one of the people who've learned to be offended by everything, just know that you've been manipulated into viewing society that way. And if you're one of the people doing the manipulating, shame on you. In your selfish political pursuits, you're leaving a wake of emotionally unstable people behind and making this country a less tolerant place to live. You remember that word tolerance, right? You preached to us for years about it, but now you don't talk about it anymore. Now the word is inclusiveness. Why? Because it allows you to exclude those you claim who don't believe in it. You see, it was never about tolerance, and it's not about inclusiveness. It's about using the emotions of others for political purposes. That's why we have cancel culture. That's why so many people are offended so easily. That's what identity politics is all about. And that's the simple truth. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you want to become a supporting member of Blue Collar Logic, click on the link in the description and give what you can.